Good morning, and thanks for listening to Behind the Scenes at the Hanover Theatre. This is Lisa Condit. I'm so pleased to be in the studio today with Moe Boisvert. Moe is one of our best board members, and he is here today to talk about access to the arts with us. Welcome, Moe.
Well, Lisa, it's a thrill to be here with you. You do such a wonderful job marketing the fantastic events that occur every week at the Hanover Theatre and make the Worcester community such an art-sensitive community. It's just absolutely terrific to be here with you.
Oh, he's making me blush, everybody. Let me tell you, I've got a great job. I'm a lucky person. The Hanover Theatre is one of the best things that I could ever ask to do marketing and PR for because people love it.
Absolutely, and and you do such a fantastic job. The annual report every year has been absolutely spectacular. Really, it should win awards every year. It's that fabulous.
Thank you.
They're really keepers, something that people can take and keep as a keepsake for future reference because someday they'll be valuable.
That means so much to me. I came from a very corporate background, and so this is actually the first nonprofit I've ever worked for. And I am just so pleased that we're one of the top 50 theaters in the world. And remember that strategy session a couple of years ago?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember how we
do.
were talking about our mission and our vision? I'm like, the best in the world. And everybody else in the room was like, the marketing girl over there. So thanks, Moe.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that strategic planning really does kind of pay off. People
totally.
really kind of think about where you want to be in 5 years. And guess what? If you really map that out, you start working to accomplish that, and more often than not, you do accomplish what you set out to do, which is really, I think, absolutely fabulous.
Right.
Fabulous. And so the team really has produced a huge Worcester success story. There's no question about that. The theater is just a wonderful, wonderful place. And
it's certainly a team. We have obviously the board of directors, your volunteers as well. We have over 200 volunteers that just the man hours and the dedication and the enthusiasm they bring is amazing. Of course, our full and part-time staff. And it's the community and the founders, the funders, the everybody. Yeah. And, Access to the Arts is one of those programs that we don't talk about a lot, but people forget. We're very successful in promoting the shows, but we're at the heart of it a nonprofit, and it's our mission to foster that love and appreciation of the performing arts and audiences of today and tomorrow. And that's really what Access to the Arts is about. And we were talking a little bit about that, and you have a very unique perspective because you've done a lot of work with U Inc. For the people, I know most people know who you are. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about U Inc. and your role?
Yep. For 41 years, I was the CEO at U Inc. It has been an incredible professional journey. When I first started back in 1970, 71, it was myself and 3 individuals, 1 program, 1 location.
Wow.
And when I left last June, there was 32 locations, 60-something programs, 13,000 plus kids and families helped with a budget of $37.5 million. So we do a lot of good for a lot of kids. And just a quick thumbnail sketch of U Inc. We have on any given day 500 kids almost who are in one of our education programs, Upward Bound, special education programs, employment and training. On any given day, we have almost 150 kids who live with us. Kids who are in our acute care, psychiatric inpatient facilities, kids who are in our group homes, our transition homes for independence. And so these are safe places for kids to mature and become adults, which is really terrific. On any given day, we are seeing thousands of children in their own home doing home therapy, and we are seeing about, in our 3 clinics in Gardner, Southbridge, and Worcester, about 1,000 patients per visit, per week now, which is an incredible amount of work with a lot of families. So we're really pretty proud of all the great work that's been done at U Inc., but we're just part of the community, and the community also has been extremely supportive of the work that we have done. And I think people want to give kids an opportunity to be successful. And one of 4 benchmarks for me that has really turned my life around in a lot of ways is that these kids, no matter what the trauma, the abuse, the neglect that they have experienced in their lifetimes, the human spirit is unbelievably resilient. And given opportunity, as in the title, Youth Opportunities Upheld, it's incredible how successful they can be, how they can turn their lives around and become contributing members of the community. I just thought I'd share with you one little story along that has to do with the arts that really struck home with me. I worked with a kid named Tim, and he first came to our program when he was around 13 years old. He was in a lot of trouble with the juvenile court. And I remember Tim saying that, I was angry. I believed a lot of the lies people told about me. I really felt bad about myself. And I came to UInc, and they kept contradicting those lies. And at first, I didn't believe them. But eventually, I did believe them, and I started thinking I was a good person and that I could do some good things. And in fact, this young man did go on to be very successful in the Worcester community. And not too long ago, I had a little conversation with him now that he's a young adult and married, has a family and all of that. And I said, was there any one particular thing that really rang for you as a pivotal changing point for you? And he said to me, the day that you told me that you'd spring for music lessons for me was really walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And for me, it opened up a whole new vista of opportunity. He plays gigs in the Worcester area now in addition to his full-time job. He's very talented musically. And it was just opening that artistic talent in him that really, for him, was even more important than any amount of individual counseling or family therapy. It was a recognition of a positive quality in him that gave him the self-confidence to go on and become successful in the community, which is really absolutely terrific. And that's what the arts offer, I think,
absolutely.
our kids.
I love that story, too, and it brings me back, I've interviewed quite a few really impressive people at this point on this station, from Keith Lockhart to all of the different musicians, and it all starts with those music lessons and a lot of times piano. And piano then spreads into something else, and I think it's the discipline that people are learning as well as the persistence, and that it really does open a lot of opportunities, like you said. And every person that comes onto this program, our producer Sherman will tell you, it's true. They all talk about how nobody in their family ever thought that they would really do something. And now they're traveling around the world playing for kings, queens, even at the Hanover Theatre. Gotta love that. Yeah. And, I also want to say, UInc is a phenomenal organization. I actually know a family who has benefited from your programs in Southbridge. And, kids have so much, you said resilience, but also a drive and a hunger to really do great things. And traditional learning situations aren't for everybody anymore. And I know that your program really taught these two young adults life skills so that they could go ahead and they could get their high school equivalency diplomas, as well as just get a great job that could provide a way to make a living once they became 18. And that's just huge. Without that opportunity, people would fall through the cracks.
That's right. And the Hanover Theatre partners with agencies like UInc, but also with the Boys and Girls Club, with the United Way, with the YWCA, the YMCA, Friendly House, the Youth Center. The theater really has opened its doors wide to provide tickets to bring in young people and their families and give them an opportunity to be exposed to the arts. I know that our foster care program at UInc sent quite a few kids, and in addition to our foster kids from the Department of Children and Family Services. There was 100 foster children and their families that went to see Christmas Carol last year. Now, I have to tell you, I am a huge fan of Christmas Carol. I have 10 grandchildren, and I've taken them several times to Christmas Carol. It's never the same. Our artistic director, Troy Seibel, is not only one of the best managers of a nonprofit, he is also one of the best artistic directors anywhere. And Christmas Carol every year is just absolutely a wonderful experience. If you have not been to see Christmas Carol, Take your family this holiday season. It will make the season such a special opportunity. And I can tell you, I've gotten thank you notes, and I've had foster parents and foster kids come up. The foster kids come up and talk about the amazement of seeing, I think it was Marley come down.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just such an amazing experience in the
is.
theater for a lot of young people. I think it's just absolutely terrific. And so the kids' eyes are wide open to, wow, this is an incredible thing. And then later on, when somebody explains to them that most of the kids in this production are local kids,
right,
it really just enhances not only our local kids watching this performance, local kids are performing in this performance. And it just brings that sense of partnership and community together in a way that it's very difficult to describe.
And it's highly professional, too.
Oh,
you know,
incredible.
It's not to be confused with local community theater, and that is one thing. From a marketing perspective, we're always making sure that people realize. So that production of A Christmas Carol, if you haven't seen it, the sets are Broadway worthy.
Oh, absolutely.
They're the same designers that have done those Broadway sets and the Broadway tours. And Troy has really done a wonderful job. You can tell it's his baby.
Yeah,
and it improves every year, and there's really something new. He tweaks it, and there's so much uplifting music, and the dancing and the choreography and the costumes are phenomenal. I just love it. I really do, every year.
This year, I was particularly struck by Scrooge, who really did an absolutely fabulous job. And somehow or other, in his characterization of Scrooge, there was a little underlying humor through the whole thing. He was just a very interesting version of Scrooge himself. So every year you can expect some new drama and some new changes. For these kids, though, they're not only exposed to this wonderful theater, they also do it together as a family.
Yes.
You know, and if there's anything that I've learned over the years, it's that a family that eats together stays together. A family that prays together stays together. A family that goes to the theater together will stay together.
That's right.
We find it so difficult in our culture to do things as a family. We can't even eat together at the end of the day. We're always running, going in 10 different directions, you know. I always remember I used to see this family in the city in a triple-decker on the 3rd floor, and it was a mother and a stepfather and a 15-year-old boy who had stolen more cars than you and I are going to own in a lifetime. And, and a couple of the siblings sitting around the kitchen tables on Tuesday afternoons every week for several weeks. And I remember at the end of the sessions I'd always say, well, what did we learn today? And I remember the grandmother leaning in and saying, you're full of crap. I didn't know what to say next,
Right.
But then she said to me, when you leave, we eat together. We keep talking. We keep solving problems. The fact that you came in and brought us together has changed our whole lives. And very soon, we don't really need you anymore. We just need to have dinner together every Tuesday night, And I thought to myself, wow, that's a powerful lesson, not only for them, but for me and my family, because we are all running around trying to do too much.
I know. When you say that, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I don't get to have dinner with my family 7 days a week for sure. But, it's about making the time you do have really special. And going to the theater is a great experience. It's about a shared experience with the families, but also the rest of the audience members. Rain, the Broadway show we just had at the Hanover Theatre.
Fabulous.
Oh,
awesome.
Totally.
Awesome.
Totally. But what really made that amazing, like a step beyond, was I was lucky enough to be, believe it or not, in the 2nd row. Yeah. And as everybody around me is standing up and they're clapping their hands and they're singing along, and I'm singing along with them because I have to make the person next to me feel comfortable expressing himself, of course. I look back and the whole theater is rocking out, and it's just one shared experience where everybody's been transported, and that's the magic, truly, that people get to discover when they come to the Hanover Theatre or other live performing venues.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, I took my granddaughter and her male friend, she's a sophomore at at Notre Dame Academy, and her friend is, I think, a sophomore or a junior at St. John's High School, very nice young man. And so the two of them came with us to Rain, and my wife and I. And I was out in the aisles dancing, it was such a fabulous, fabulous production. And then halfway through, you remember when they said, okay, everybody under 20, please raise your hands, because most of the audience was 50 and older, right? And there was only about, maybe on Friday night when I went, there was probably 20, 30 people under 20 in the audience.
My daughter was there too in the second row, one of the only hands up. But you know what? There were people of all ages throughout the theater. And I remember my daughter kept saying, oh, I didn't know the Beatles did this song. Oh, I didn't know the Beatles did this song. And she left that performance loving the Beatles.
Yeah,
and she didn't even know it before she went there.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Well, my granddaughter plays the guitar and the piano and the saxophone, and she writes her own music now. Every once in a while you can catch her at the New Cafe playing open mic and all of that. And she just knew all the Beatles songs, and she was just very excited about going to Rain, and we were excited to be able to take her. Again, like you said, it's a family event. It's an event that draws energy and excitement, and it's those kind of experiences that kind of bring us together in a way that is just great. And it's wonderful that the Hanover Theatre offers this opportunity for families and extends it to families who don't always have the means and the resources and the wherewithal to get engaged in such a powerful experience in their lives. So it's really terrific that the management team at the Hanover has saw fit to work so hard with our board to make sure that these opportunities are out there for foster kids, for kids who just don't have the opportunity.
Well, it really is, as we say, a team effort for sure. The board, the staff, the volunteers, the community, everybody working together. And it's one of the wonderful things about being able to work for a place like the Hanover Theatre and have that nonprofit piece of it, because, we were saying before, we are successful, which is a phenomenal, fabulous thing, and I can't wait to see where we go in the next 5 years. But at the end of the day, we have a big, expensive, beautiful building to maintain, and we only get $2 out of every $50 spent on a ticket to go back to the theater. So when you start thinking about it like that, the nonprofit, the fundraising, supporting our programs like Access to the Arts, supporting our Securing the Future Capital campaign, those are really important pieces to make sure that we're continuing to thrive, not just survive, but thrive here in downtown Worcester. And together we can all do it, and we can keep, spreading the love.
Right.
Really.
That's right. And thanks to all those donors who make it possible.
Absolutely.
Because that's really critical for all of us.
Absolutely. So, Mo, is there anything else that you want to make sure people know before we end our time here?
I think the only other thing I'd just say that it is a tremendous team. It's been a wonderful experience so far. We will continue to work very hard to open up more doors for more kids, more families, and hopefully from that there'll be some talent that you'll be interviewing here that's going to New York, California, that came out of this experience. And I'm confident that that's exactly what's going to happen, Lisa.
Me too. And it's already happened. You know, Tori Heinlein, she's been in A Christmas Carol. She went on to Broadway.
Oh, that's great.
And then she came back. You know what
wonderful.
I mean? So we're totally shaking and grooving and creating the stars of tomorrow, which is really nice for us all to see and grow.
That's right.
So thanks again, Mo. I really appreciate your time. And we'll look forward to a lot more from you and from other members of the board, other members of the community. People, if you have any questions, please visit our website. That's the Hanover Theatre, spelled with an RE.org. There are ways that you can donate. You can support us. You can find out about events coming up. Anything that you would like to do. And always, you're welcome to email us. Check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're there. Yeah. So until next time, we'll see you all at the theater.